You will fail if you think Etsy is the same in 2025 as it was in 2018. Actually, forget 2018 because Etsy has changed drastically even since last year. But most sellers, they're still using the same outdated strategies, and then they're wondering why their sales have tanked. So stop blaming the Etsy algorithm, and it's time to dive in to understand how Etsy works in 2025. And I know that sounds really harsh, but this is the reality. Your store isn't failing because Etsy is dead, it's failing because you haven't adapted to how buyers on Etsy purchase now. And yes, I know what you're thinking because I see the comments every single day. Etsy's saturated, Etsy's dead, the algorithm hates me, I tried this niche and it didn't work. But here's the thing that drives me crazy. While everybody's busy complaining, there's this group of sellers who are absolutely crushing it right now. And they're not working any harder, they're not spending money on advertising, and they understand how the shopping experience on Etsy is changing, and they're adapting accordingly. And I'm not saying this out of the blue. I've been actually testing these strategies for months, and I'm not even kidding when I say this stuff works so well it almost feels unfair. So if you're ready to stop making excuses and start making money, keep watching because I'm about to change how you think about Etsy forever. All right, so hack number one is going to hurt some feelings, but somebody needs to say it. Your customers have gone way too smart for your basic listings. Like seriously, they're not the same people who were shopping on Etsy 5 years ago. Customers are more educated now, right? So look at this listing. Do you feel compelled to buy this? I don't even need to run this through Allura to guess which listing is actually getting more sales. So here's what's happening. Your customers aren't just buying your product anymore, right? They're buying the whole experience, the whole vibe, the way it makes them feel. So when somebody sees your mock-up, they're not thinking, oh cool, a printable. They're thinking, will this make my house feel like those Pinterest boards that I've been saving? So this is why you need to stop thinking like a seller and start thinking like a brand. And when you're creating your mock-ups, you need to show the lifestyle, not just the product. So if you're selling a motivational quote print for $20, don't just show it in a white background, show it in a gorgeous home office with a $2,000 desk and perfect lighting. Make them think, I need this print because I want my office to look just like that. And here's the crazy part, when you actually start presenting your products like this, people will actually pay you more for them. And I've seen sellers double their prices by just upgrading their mock-ups, and their sales actually went up, not down. Because now, instead of competing with every other cheap listing, you're selling an aspiration, you're selling an emotion. Okay, so hack number two is going to sound super weird, but stay with me on this because this is probably gonna be the most important thing I'm gonna be telling you today. So nobody reads your description anymore, like at all. And I know you spend 3 hours writing the perfect product description with all the features, all the benefits, and all the size options. But here's what actually happens when somebody finds your listing. So they look at your main mockup image for maybe 2 seconds, and then they look at the product features that you highlight in your listing image, and they glance at the reviews. And then they either buy or they scroll away. That's it. Your beautiful description, they're usually not reading it. I learned this the hard way. 99% of customers never even scroll down to see the description. They're making buying decision based purely on what they can see in the thumbnail. So what do you do with this information? Well, you put everything important directly in your mockups. I'm talking about customer testimonials, key features, like everything. Your mockups need to do the job of selling because that's all your customers are looking at. Think about it like this, when you're scrolling Instagram, do you stop to read the long caption? Usually not, right? You make split-second decision based on what you see. So your Etsy customers are doing the exact same thing. So instead of hoping that they'll read about your instant download feature, put instant download right on the mockup. Instead of hoping they'll see your size option in the description, show them multiple size in the images, right? And instead of hoping that they'll trust your quality, show reviews like perfect quality, exactly what I wanted from customers, right? So folks inside our community actually started doing this 6 months ago, and their conversion rate literally doubled overnight because now their mockups are working with human psychology in mind. And it's easier for folks to understand all the features of your product by simply looking at the mockups, the thumbnails, like having everything that needs to be in the description should be in your images. It's much easier for them to digest it than actually scrolling down and reading through the features. So you have to make it really simple for your customers to understand what it is you're offering them. All right, so hack number 3 is your insurance policy. And honestly, this is the difference between having an Etsy shop and having a real business. You need to start collecting emails, and I mean starting today, because smart sellers have already figured this out, right? They're using Etsy like a lead generation marketing funnel. And if you're selling digital products, this is actually even easier and more powerful. Here's what you do. You're gonna create something valuable that actually complements your main product, like a bonus PDF guide or a template pack. Then in your main product delivery, you're gonna include a link that says, get your free bonus here. And so when they click on it, they're gonna land on a simple page where they're going to enter their email to get the freebie. Now, think about this. They already bought from you, so they trust you. And now you have their email address to tell them about other new products or features that you're launching, right? So this is how you increase your lifetime customer value. So the sellers making 6 figures plus, they aren't just selling on Etsy, they're also building an email list. So your email list becomes more valuable than your Etsy shop because those people will buy from you again and again. So there you have it, the 3 hacks that are separating the winners from the complainers in 2025. So stop thinking like a small seller and start thinking like a brand. Put your selling features in your mockups, because that's all people are looking at. And please start building your email list today. Look, Etsy isn't dead, but it is evolving and customers are more sophisticated and the competition is fierce and the old ways of doing things, it just doesn't work anymore. But that's actually good news because it means there's a massive opportunity for the sellers who are willing to adapt. I want you to pick one of these 3 hacks and implement it this week and come back to this video in 30 days and tell me what happened. I bet you'll be shocked at the difference these simple changes can make. Because while everybody else is sitting around complaining that Etsy is dead, you will be out there proving that it's very much alive for the people who know how to play the new game. So remember, the only difference between sellers who are struggling and sellers who are thriving is information. Now you have the information and the question is, what are you going to do with it? I'll see you guys next time.